Right, so Ruth is a very hard act to follow, but we're going to ask Ted to do just that. And so, Ted. All right, if I just yank this stuff out of this laptop and put it in mine, will this work? That doesn't keep popping up. Uh-oh. Say okay. Don't need a network, no.
Turn off your Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah, good idea. How do I turn off my Wi-Fi? Oh, here. All right. Oh, right, I can take off my mask.
Are you mic'd?
I am Mike. Can you hear me?
Just making sure.
Okay. Well, to put it mildly, it's great to be here. It's really wonderful. Thank you all for coming. I guess I'm going to say that at the end, so I don't have to say it at the beginning. And it's been great to be reminded of all the great people I've worked with. And I can say that insofar as I've been successful, it's because I've worked with such just amazing people. And I want to give you this interesting statistic, which is I have only had 15 PhD students in my entire career. And you've seen a number of them here. The quality of the people I've had in my lab is just astonishing. And not just the PhDs, postdocs as well. And all the people I've been so lucky to work with. And I also do want to thank the organizers. Is Roger White here? And is Laura Lynn here? I think maybe she is here. Can we give some applause to Laura Lynn? I was fortunately spared all the tasks of organizing this, but I've heard that they just did an amazing amount of stuff. And all these other people as well who are involved in organizing.
The microphone very far away.
Does this work? All right. All right, my career trajectory started when I was 5. My mother brought home a prism and put it in a sunbeam, and it projected on the wall or on whatever, and I was just entranced. I couldn't believe the colors were so beautiful, and I loved the way when you move the prism around, the colors would move around. And I was, from that moment, hooked on perception, I guess, on light and sight. In graduate school, I started out doing rod after images, as you've heard, in Matt Alburn's lab. And this was really fun because you could do a correlation between this physical stimulus and you could understand the physiological responses that were happening in your eye and how that correlated with your own internal experience of the, in this case, of the after image as it faded. That was very satisfying, but it was just rods, and I wanted to do more complex things. And some of the things, let's get some ratings going here. So there's an ambiguous plaid. I got this off the internet. Somebody has reproduced the stimulus. Anyway, some things made a big splash right away, like these plaids. A lot of people were excited about them from the beginning. Some things took longer to catch on. So this is the Laplacian pyramid paper, and you see here a clipping from the letter that I actually had. Back in those days, letters were on paper. And it says, this paper is okay if compared with weaker papers published. I suspect, however, that no one will ever use this algorithm again. And then down on the right, I show you the citations, which started out slow, but grew and grew and grew and grew, and are still going strong at about 350 citations a year. So that's quite amazing. And the planoptic camera paper has a similar thing. It was really down at nothing for a really long time, and eventually it caught on. It's not satisfying at the beginning when you're not getting citations, but it becomes very satisfying later on when people come to appreciate what you were thinking about. And it's been wonderful all these years. I love vision, I love seeing, I love images, and it's allowed me to work with so many great people and in multiple communities, neuroscience, psychology, computer vision, computer graphics, computational photography, and there's so many interesting people I've had a chance to work with. But as you know, I'm now working on robotic touch. So what happened? This happened. Ruth and I got married and had kids, and I was just amazed by the way they used their fingers. And so here's Robin exploring this toy, and she can't even sit up. She's so young she can't even sit up without this special chair, but she is skillfully and curiously exploring the way this thing feels, and then she starts feeling the way that stuff feels. And and this is just the sort of thing that kids do. They're just fascinated with the way things feel. And I think she's also going to give a bite to this thing. Is she going to bite it? No, I guess it stopped before she bit it. All right, here's Robin again. And I'll show you this. She's putting these necklaces on over her head. And, okay, so kids do that sort of thing. But if you slow it down and look at what she's doing is just incredible. She's got this mess of necklaces tangled together, and she's got to separate them out somehow, and she just does it almost effortlessly. She figures out how to get one of them out there by itself. And then she grasps both strands with her hand, and then she lets go of one strand and keeps the other strand at just the right moment. Right there, she lets go of one, so she can get it over her head. And so she's, this is just so far beyond what any robot could do. It's just amazing. And so I was fascinated by this, and fascinated by the fact that they could do this stuff so skillfully when they were so young. And I wanted to understand something about touch. And I asked some robotics people here about, what did they know about what was the information that was available at the finger to do this sort of thing. They said, well, we really don't know much about that because there aren't any good robot fingers, because there's no soft and sensitive skin. So that led me to try to figure out how to build soft and sensitive skin, and since I'm a vision guy, it was natural to try to figure out how to do that visually, to turn the mechanical signal into a visual signal. And you've heard about gel sight. This is a very straightforward way of doing this. And also what's nice about it, there's a lot of people, in fact, there's this whole community, hundreds of papers of very advanced techniques for making sensitive touch sensors. But I don't know how to do nanoparticle, blah, 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 any of that stuff. I had to do something simple. So this is very simple. So the advantage is it's simple to build, and you can use existing techniques in computer vision to make sense of the signal. And Chemo and I started just playing with it to figure out, what's it good for? Here's an example of something you can do. This will answer your questions about what is your skin experience when you drag a finger across it. Okay, so we're on the inside of the skin. We're looking through the gel sight, watching the finger on the outside. And that's my finger. You can see my fingerprint. I'm just dragging across. And now I put down some lotion. And the lotion acts as a cushion. And slowly, as I keep on moving, the cushion gets sort of squeezed away, and then you see what's happening. Again, lotion at the beginning, and the lotion slowly gets squeezed away. So you can watch these things that otherwise would be very hard to observe. And then if you're using exfoliating lotion, it's got these little scrubbing particles in it, and you can see the scrubbing particles moving around there. And this is chunky peanut butter. In case you were wondering what chunky peanut butter feels like on your skin. All right, so Chemo, together with Yanis Rohai, decided to start this company. And we consider, all of these, well, as Chemo said, he got 1,000 emails before the company even started with all kinds of applications, and we tried to figure out what we should do. Robot fingers was one application, but it seemed like there wasn't an existing market, and so they ended up choosing to go with high-resolution touch sensing, which has been quite successful. And eventually, we hope, fingers will be successful. At any rate, at the same time, here back at MIT, I've been learning about touch and learning about robotics, and I wanted to mention some people that have been very helpful. So early on, Rob Platt and Russ Tedrake helped me understand basic issues about what robotics is. I have to say, if you're a vision person, if you spent your life being a vision person, sort of the most striking thing looking from the outside at people doing robotics is robots still don't work very well. And, and vision these days works great. So there's two theories about why robots are not working very well. And one is that, compared to vision researchers, roboticists are stupid and lazy. And the other is that robotics is really, really hard. And it turns out that one is correct. I've just come to appreciate how very hard it is. There's so much you have to solve. And interacting with the physical world is actually much harder than just dealing with photons and pixels. Anyway, Mandayam Srinivasan is a world's expert on touch and haptics, and I was lucky to to work with him. We worked together with Wenjen. Wenjen is the person who really dragged me and my lab into the world of robotics, which was not easy because when she entered my lab, she didn't know anything about robotics, so she had to figure it all out and then teach me. And then Alberto Rodriguez is a great roboticist who knows more about manipulation than anybody. So here's a robot finger built by my student Sean Wang. And you know, it just gives you wonderful information. You can see the shear force, the tangential force. You can see the normal force. You can see the shape. And you can use this, for example, to, if you know the starting position of this yellow cube, and you just watch the gel site signal, so just from touch, you can estimate the pose of that thing as it continues, which is something that roboticists actually really care about, estimating the pose of a grasped object. So that's exciting. Here's some work. This is in collaboration with Alberto's group. We're using the tactile signals as feedback to help the robot fingers keep hold of this cable, and in this case also to figure out the right way to insert it. It already knows, it's not using vision, it already knows exactly where it needs to insert. Can I make that go again? Okay, so again, the fingers are feeling exactly what angle and what position the cable is going, so the arm adjusts, and then here we combine it with this insertion, which is really a very difficult thing to do, and we're excited to be making progress on it. Anyway, we can't match Robin yet, but we are making progress in the right direction. And I want to thank the current members of my lab, or the current and recent members who are helping us push robotics forward. It takes a lot of people to do robotics because there are so many subtasks that have to be solved. One more thing, you probably want to see some illusions. Is it possible to dim the lights a little bit so there's not so much light on the screen? It'll probably work, but might be better if the lights are a bit down. Let's see if... All right, I think that'll work. All right, if you Google me in Google Images, what do you get? You get this illusion and a few pictures of me. So my illusion is more famous than I am. And many times people ask me about this. They say, how did you think of this? Because I guess people think, illusions come about logically. You think, oh, I've got this great idea. I'll put a cylinder on a checkerboard and, I get this illusion. But actually, this illusion is the result of a couple of years of fooling around, starting with some simple simultaneous contrast illusions, saying, well, what would happen if I do this? What if I make this blurry? What if I make it three-dimensional? What if I, thousands of little baby experiments, each time trying to say, does that make it better or worse? And that's not unique to me. That's whenever you see an illusion, it probably came about that way. Just lots of playing and thinking, and playing again, looking again, thinking again. And I'd like to show you some illusions that have not been published that have resulted from this. But first, let me just say a little bit about how to make progress in science. So here's the scientific method. You all learned this in high school. You state the hypothesis, design an experiment, run the experiment, get the results, and then revise your hypothesis. And of course, that is a very important thing to do. But here's the unscientific method, which is you look, you think, you play, you smile, you look again. And this is what you need to do to make illusions. And I think also a good thing to do throughout your life, throughout your career. And I think this is one of the things that's helped me make progress and helped this whole pathway to be enjoyable. And so here's some fruits of that process. All right, so the two dark dots at the top are the same as the two light dots at the bottom. That's a kind of a goosed up version of the checkerboard, the checker shadow illusion. Here, these four things are the same color, and they're still the same color, but I hope you will agree they look quite different. Looks from here like we've got some accidental isoluminant match there. And here, the up arrows and the down arrows are all the same shade of gray. And with that, I want to thank you all for being here, and remember, keep looking, keep thinking, keep playing, and keep smiling. Thank you. Questions?
Yeah, I was going to close it, but if you want to ask, do you want some time for questions? I mean, whatever you want.
Yeah, let's take two questions. All right. No, I guess it was all clear.
Okay, well, so thank you all. It's been wonderful. And this closes TedFest. And thank you all again. And thank you, Ted, so much.
All right.